What is it like living life as someone who's 6'4"?
It's like being dealt at least 2 aces.
Really?
Yeah, bro, for sure. You're born straight white male and tall. Bro, that's at least 3 aces out of 5. You know?
You think it's that big of an advantage to be 6'4"? And
No. I would never I don't think just because you're tall, you get ahead in life. But I mean, there are certain advantages to it. And I think I'd be a kid to say that that's not true.
What are some of the biggest advantages you would say?
Girls, the ability to play sports, a certain physical presence in a room. I think it's helped me in leadership a bit, but I don't think it makes me a better leader. You know, I just think it's helpful.
But not planes.
Not good on planes.
No, not good on planes.
Not good in Lamborghini.
Okay. Right.
So no sports cars, but you can reach the top aisle, top shelf at the grocery store.
Yes.
So that I need help.
That's good.
Sometimes.
Okay.
I can absolutely do that.
Right.
You know, there's an obvious thing that I can say that Graham can stand on his wallet.
Right.
You know, which it is what it is. But you know what also? I've thought about this deeply, actually. If I had not been so tall or was not gifted so much physically, I might have created a different strategy in my life and been much better at something else. Does that make sense?
It does. I 100% actually agree with you.
Yeah. I would have been okay, you can't play this card in life. You need to hyper focus here. You know, and I think life is really like that. I think that life is, you know, evaluating the hand you're dealt and then saying, okay, how can I maximize this? Because everything that's ever happened negative in my life or any disadvantage that I think I have, I'm quite dyslexic. I don't read very well at all. My eyes just don't pick the words up. It could be it could be like a child's book. And whatever the eye flow is, it just doesn't work out very well for me. And I'm like, okay, well, what can I do about it? You know, so I've been able to turn most negative things in my life into positive somehow. And I think winners do that. I mean, most people, if they have something that seems to be a disadvantage, I try to find a way to make it a superpower. I really do. You know, I didn't grow up in the best situation. I grew up trailer parks and stuff like that. But for that reason, I believe I had this certain kind of grit or understanding of the world or whatever that I choose to believe, whether it's true or not, gives me an advantage. And that's just how I choose to frame it.
Do you think there's a disadvantage of being really tall?
I think much taller than me, you start to look like a baby giraffe. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know,
but you said much taller than you.
I mean,
so what about being 6'4"? Is there any disadvantage?
I would cut it off at 6'4".
You think that's the optimal height? 6'4".
6'3", 6'4". Yeah. But I think 6'5" and definitely 6'6", you start to look goofy. You know what I mean? It's because then they get long. It was hard for me to get size because of my height. I had to work extra hard on working out to get size on me because my limbs are long. And then once you get to 6'6", it's just kind of weird looking. You know, you're just so much taller than everybody.
But if that's the optimal, what downsides have you seen
from being
yourself?
Tall?
Yes, for yourself. Besides not fitting in Lamborghini.
Okay.
I am curious.
Yeah.
I fit in my Lamborghini. It's close.
Okay.
Are there certain girls that are no, you're too tall at 6'4"?
Hell no. No, I've never had a girl
that does
tell me
not
I'm too
happen?
tall. No. In fact, you see it a lot, man. This is actually something that people talk about online a lot is girls will put, if you're not 6 foot tall, swipe left.
Oh, they do. They do.
And I think that's ruthless.
but that's all on social media. Once they meet someone shorter in person, I've seen it firsthand, it goes out the door. It's when they're on social media, Tinder, there's so many options. They have to do things to filter. There has to be a minimum something on there.
They're trying to vet. But I think it just depends on the girl or the guy in the situation. But no, I've never been well, I tell you, I've had a lot of people in my life come to me and say, when I first saw you or met you, I hated you. But after I got to know you, I realized I was wrong. And so I think that sometimes I might look like a guy that used to pick on them in high school or something. And I was the nicest person on the planet in high school. I was class favorite. My 10-year reunion was one of the best days of my life because people would come up to me and they said, you were very popular, but you were always nice to me. And it means a lot. And it was just one of the best days I've ever had in my life because it was very fulfilling to hear that, 10 years later. But I have had people judge me based off of my appearance and come to find out later it wasn't positive. I mean, I think my height was probably included in that.
I definitely think, like, from seeing you online and also seeing you in person, you are a bit intimidating, I would say, based off of your stature, based off the muscles, and also based off of like just the way that you walk and the way that you show yourself.
I've been told that a lot.
And on top of that, your stare is very intense. Like when you look at me, your eyebrows, they furrow and they kind of sit low on your forehead, and you're like lasers.
Very serious. Very serious.
And it's just an intense look, which I personally, I don't have a problem with, but I'm trying to understand, is that something that you learned over time, like through business, you had to have this intense eye contact, or have you always had this like high level of focus?
Well, it was probably construction, probably amplified it. And then also, I do think it's very important to like let people know that you're truly like, I think you can shake a man's hand and look him dead in the eyes and he'll know if you're a snake or not. Because if you can't look him dead in the eyes, how can he trust you? In my 20s, when I'm shaking some 55-year-old white guy's hand and telling him I'm going to hit his schedule, and I had to do that to be able to get a contract for a metal building or to hang these steel jobs. It was probably something that I acquired just out of necessity because I was the youngest guy in the room. And I was lucky because I was tall, because I looked like a grown ass man, you know, coming, because I played college football. And so I came into my business, man. I was, 6'4", 240, 6'3", 6'4". I'm a little over 6'3" barefoot, like 6'3" and a half barefoot. And so, I think it was an advantage. Grow a little bit of a beard out and just look people dead in the eye, especially in the construction meetings. Because every Tuesday in commercial construction, you have a subcontractor meeting. I was very often the youngest guy in the room. And so I had to use kind of a quiet disposition and body language to be able to set the tone with basically a room full of men that were older than me, been doing it for longer than I've been alive.